Oh my God. Yeah. Merry Christmas, y'all. The Fiend just got burned to a freaking crisp.
I don't know why, but I thought you were going to make a Die Hard reference, and I was totally on board for that, but...
Yippee-ki-yay, indeed. Yeah. Welcome to the TLC, tables, ladders, and whatever word you want to use, C word for burning somebody. This is...
Charred.
Yeah, tables, ladders, and charred. There we go. Thank you. So, yeah, this review is a couple days late. My apologies for that, but my friends, how you feeling?
Confused by that main event, but overall, I feel like every single one of these matches brought something that I did not think it was going to bring. So I was very surprisingly satisfied.
For sure. Kris, how you feeling?
Honestly, a little lackluster. This pay-per-view really didn't do it for me. I was having a hard time just, finding good things to enjoy about it.
Wow.
And in that regard, it is the last pay-per-view of the year, and this is a pay-per-view people tend to throw away because, who cares about TLC? We got the New Year coming, and we got the Royal Rumble, and we got WrestleMania. So
right.
I think no harm, no foul. They're not all home runs, but then again, this is WWE we're talking about.
I think that's why they made it TLC, because it's like, extreme stuff. We'll get people to watch it.
But, it's honestly, this may be one of the most unpopular opinions on this chat, but I thought this was WWE's pay-per-view of the year.
Really?
Yeah. I this was the most consistently entertaining show of the year for me. I did like this more than SummerSlam. I did thinking about it, I liked it more than the Rumble. Not going to lie.
Really?
Yeah, I thought this was a super eventful show, and it had one of the most... I'm not going to... this ending...
I would say it was better than WrestleMania, but anything's better than WrestleMania. So...
Well, this year, yeah, because you had
exactly.
fucking
Anything's
crowd.
better than WrestleMania this year?
Yeah, but... I mean, it had probably one of the most unique endings to a WWE pay-per-view I think I've ever seen. I've been a fan for a long time, too, and we'll certainly get into that as we go down the show. But it's funny because I watched the show live, and these two guys were actually watching the show. They just finished it today at the time of recording, Monday.
About an hour and 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, and I gotta say, it was
finished.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good, but... Let me just say also, this isn't going to be the permanent thing, but it was, especially for this pay-per-view, it was really fun for me to, get your guys' reactions to texts as you guys were watching it. And, I knew all the answers. And Tomas, especially during the main event, was texting me, why is there no fire around the ring? What's going on? And I was like, just be patient. Just be patient.
Randy Orton's wearing sweater and slacks for the entire match. That question was never answered. I think Orton was just lazy tonight, and he did not like getting in the full gear. Which, hey, when you're in the same building for months and months and months, I bet these wrestlers are showing up in their pajamas and just
probably.
Or they're there to impress a bunch of screens.
Yeah,
true.
Mm-hmm. Either that, or he was shilling his sweatshirt for the last-minute Christmas shoppers on WWE Shop. But anyway. Before the actual pay-per-view begins, we do actually get a fun little 8-man tag team match made up of the team of Big E and his new theme song by Wale, Daniel Bryan, some reason on the kickoff, and Otis and Chad Gable, random tag team alert, Tomas. They're taking on the team of Sami Zayn, King Corbin, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Look at all that star power that's on the pre-show.
I know. All this star power on the pre-show, and it was fairly standard. And it was, if you missed this match, you honestly weren't missing a ton. I mean, the guys were working hard throughout. I can
understand Corbin, Otis, Gable, Big E, and Zayn in this match, but my issues are with Cesaro, Nakamura, and Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan especially, a former WWE champion on the Kickoff show.
With no build.
With no build, and he's just teaming with a bunch of geeks. And, Big E to an extent isn't a geek now, but,
Big E's teetering, but once he gets that Intercontinental title, hopefully that'll change.
Yes. So the ending of the match comes around where basically Big E hot tags in, and the whole story was basically Sami Zayn was trying to escape Big E the whole time. And Big E tags in, and he pretty much hits the big ending, and he pins him. And it earns him an Intercontinental title match on SmackDown, which I'm assuming Big E wins because, it's Christmas.
Honestly, it just looked like there's 8 guys with nothing to do.
That was exactly what it is. It was 8 guys that they had no stories for, or they have stories for them, but they don't have enough like momentum behind them to make the main pay-per-view. So they were like, we got these 8 guys who we know can work, who can put on a good match that has some momentum, but not a lot to be pay-per-view ready. Let's throw them on the kickoff.
Which you got Otis and Gable feuding with Nakamura and Cesaro, which that can't end any sooner. Big E's feuding with Zayn, but King Corbin's feuding with Rey Mysterio and family. So I guess Daniel Bryan just needed a payday. They needed to get him on there somehow.
Well, then why wasn't Rey on this card then?
I prefer if we don't talk about the King Corbin Rey Mysterio family nonsense. So yeah.
Yeah, King Corbin versus Rey, Dominic, and Murphy, basically, all by himself.
Well, no, now he has the Knights of the Lone Wolf.
Yeah,
which
he has.
I don't mind. I'm still not okay with a 30-year-old man grooming a 19-year-old girl storyline.
I don't either.
Yeah,
you're not alone.
It's creepy. I had to pause the recording there because there was some internet stuff. But yeah, I totally agree. That was not ideal,
No.
Yeah, Rey. Anywho, yeah. My apologies for these weird little internet things that are going on my end. But yeah, so here's one thing that I wanted to get into about this match. And this is something that I feel needs addressing. It may be a pretty small thing, but in the grand scheme of it, it's a pretty big issue still at large. Sami Zayn, after his Sami Awards segment on SmackDown, which admittedly was a very fun segment, backstage, he lambasts Kayla Braxton on tape, and Kayla Braxton posts it on audio. And this is meant to be a spoof of the incident where Tom Cruise was lambasting the crew of MI7 for not following the COVID protocols. And Michael Cole, I'm sure this wasn't his fault, but Michael Cole basically was told to say that Sami Zayn had a Tom Cruise-like outburst. Here's the thing, though. Sami's the heel, and Corey Graves is the heel, and he was saying, oh, no, Tom Cruise was totally in the right. You have no right to say that. And I'm like, I'm going to side with the heel on this one. Vince is trying to get people.
I can definitely see how it gets
Kayfabe.
I can definitely see how that gets misconstrued. It may have been just directed at the fact that Tom Cruise had an outburst, but when you don't know the context behind it, it adds a lot more.
Yeah, it's either that or, the lunatic in charge might just be saying, oh, COVID's not a big deal. This thing started back in March. It's freaking December now. Do you think I'm stupid? Like, come on, man. Like, that just really made me mad. And they brought up that outburst a couple of times on this show. But anyway, I hope that's the only rant I do, because this is a really good show.
Oh, don't worry. We'll go on a couple of rants for you.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Open up the show, which I honestly, this is what I expected. I expected the show to open with the WWE Championship Tables, Ladders, and Chairs match. Drew McIntyre defending against AJ Styles.
Main event time.
Because you have 2 TLC matches, and I feel like one does need to open the show and one does need to close out the show, because I don't want to see these matches back to back.
No,
for sure. That's redundancy incarnate.
Redundancy incarnate for sure.
I personally think they could have switched them, but that's just because the head of the table needs to be sat at the kiddie table, in my opinion.
Ooh, damn. More shade thrown at.
No hating on KO. KO, in my opinion, was well booked where he was in the match card. Unfortunately, he had the match with the head of the table. So I would have been okay if the TLC matches switched.
I agree with you. I just think it's because the Universal title opened the show at Hell in a Cell, and then the WWE Championship closed out Hell in a Cell. They're just alternating,
taking
just to
turns.
Keep things not too stale.
Okay, I'll take that. I appreciate that answer.
Yeah. But I wrote down this is main event time in the opener. Little did I know what I was expecting with this main event tonight, but this was also a first time ever match between Drew and AJ, probably my two favorite workers on the roster, if I'm being completely honest. Mm-hmm. It was the match I was most looking forward to, but I've got a bone to pick.
Can you believe that they never fought?
Really?
Yeah.
Like even on the indies?
I don't know about
or is this,
that, but
is this
WWE,
first time ever in WWE standards?
Yeah, this is first time they've never faced each other in WWE.
Yeah. Okay. It was basically, I mean, they didn't even face each other in Impact either. It was basically like two ships passing in the sea. AJ was leaving as Drew was coming in. So
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they've ever faced off like in any promotion. So I was really, really excited for this match. But I have a bone to pick with some members of the IWC, as some may call them. Apparently, some of you guys are turning on Drew already.
I know he never was with Drew to begin with.
Well, okay. I'm not here to call out names or anything, but like last year.
No, we talked about in our Hell in a Cell review. I know Kris is not really a fan of Drew McIntyre from the start.
At this time last year. I'm just saying, so many people were like, oh, Drew McIntyre needs to be the face of the promotion. He would be so good, and you finally give him the title. I was one of those people too. I'm like, Drew would be excellent in this role because he's got every tool in the book. And what do they do with him? They give him the WWE title. They give him not one long reign, but it looks like it's going to be a second long reign going through WrestleMania. And people are like, oh, no, we didn't want this. Drew needs to stop. He's too stale. And I'm like, what's enough for you guys?
Well, you got to understand that's the fans with any top babyface they want, with the exception of Styles or Daniel Bryan. They're always going to go through this cycle of wanting someone, and then they get pushed too much, and then they're shoved down our throats. It's the John Cena. It's John Cena-itis. Everyone's shoved down our throats, and they want this, and they want that. But when they get what they want, now they're fickle. Like Daniel Bryan, you say, they're fickle. And they don't want Drew McIntyre as the WWE champion anymore until, the next person they want to get pushed gets that push.
Yeah.
I appreciate Drew McIntyre as a worker. He has a good move set. He's got a good build. He's very athletic. He has a great ring IQ. I just don't find him entertaining. And unfortunately, that's a lot of the business. That's why it's called sports entertainment now. Wrestling is only a part of it. He's okay on the mic. I like him better as a heel on the mic. And I don't know, when he has the title, like ever since he won it, there's just nothing exciting about it. It's just been like, okay, you have the title now. Now what?
I feel like they continuously hammer in it took him 19 years to win the title. And he came in and he was supposed to be the chosen one. Then he had an attitude problem. I feel like they're hammering that fact in a little too much. It's like, okay, we get it. It's like it's time to move on from that point and kind of move forward. But no, they continuously harp on that fact.
Yeah, they do. I'm just reaching over to grab something over here. But yeah, no, Drew's the man. I'm just saying, like, he is freaking awesome in the ring. I think he's gotten a lot better on the mic, like, especially over this last year. And especially with everything that's been going on, WWE has gotten a lot of chances to experiment with things.
I feel like when we get live crowds back, we can see how the fans react to Drew McIntyre more as a champion.
Oh, instead of the pre-recorded audios that they edit in?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry,
I appreciate it, but, when I was watching something and I realized that we can't have creative chants anymore. And that's when I realized these pre-recorded chants are getting old. So this is awesome. You suck. Random boos. We want the smoke. It's like we don't get creative chants anymore. And I understand why, but it's just like, that's boring and stale if you ask me. Not
I remember when we had the crowds, the arenas, the UK crowds, the post-Mania crowd, the Raw after Mania crowd, they would just chant, and it wouldn't even be on the topic of the show. They just randomly chant something strange. They cheered for beach balls. The crowds are why beach balls are banned at the shows.
Yep.
Well, we'll see if WWE can get fans into Mania in 2021. Let's see how much noise they make, because I feel like they're going to make some noise, and they're going to be letting it know that they're there. They're there.
They're going to be happy to be there, and I'm sure the wrestlers are going to be really, really stoked to have them there again.
I know. I don't think they can go.
This match was all right.
I really liked this match. I really liked how Drew was selling the knee, and like it wasn't like later on, Drew's got a really good grasp on like psychology and retaining like selling a certain body part, because AJ put a big bullseye on that left knee, and he was doing things like the calf killer with the ladder and the calf killer with the steel chair, which was just so cool. And Drew didn't just shrug it off like it was nothing. He didn't just go about his business like it was another show. Like, he told that story.
A random comparison, but it reminded me of Sheamus versus John Morrison from 2010's TLC match, their ladder match for the contract. Because Sheamus would do the same thing with Morrison's leg. Instead of making it a spot fest kind of ladder match, he was wrestling it like a regular ladder match, but he'd be using the ladder to work on the body parts. And he'd be using the ladder to wrap up Morrison's knee and inflict punishment that way. That's what this match reminded me of a lot. But I was just expecting maybe a little more, just a little more, considering who was in the match.
Yeah,
I agree. It kind of it was a very by the book kind of TLC match. They did, like you said, AJ focused on Drew's knee, which not only takes out his height and his power. I think they were working on the left leg, the left knee.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one he hits the Claymore with. Is it his right leg?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Then maybe it's the like kickoff power from the floor to get, in the air. Who knows? But like it was good strategy. Like you said, Drew had the knee the whole time. He was actually aware of it, which is in the moment very hard to do. 'Cause you'd be surprised. You're 20 minutes, 25 minutes into a match, a TLC match, and you're like, all right, I gotta remember the finish. What's the finish? Oh wait, my knee's hurt. It's a lot harder than it looks to remember that like you have a body part that's hurt.
Yeah, that's where ring psychology kicks in.
Yeah, and I think Drew has a really good grasp of that, and I think I don't know. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. And
for sure.
I mean,
I am, I do agree that Drew McIntyre is one of my favorite wrestlers too, and I do think he okay. I understand the fans may think that Drew McIntyre's booking is a little, repetitive. It's getting a little boring. It's getting a little stale, but that's WWE's fault. Drew McIntyre's look and his ring ethic and his ring work ethic, I think, way makes up for that. Like, he's not, nothing against John Cena, but he's not John Cena 5 Moves of Doom mixed in with WWE's shitty, stale, boring booking. At least McIntyre's a good enough worker that when McIntyre gets in the ring, I can say, oh yeah, I'm going to enjoy this match. But anything beyond that, WWE just doesn't do anything with him. And that's a good point that when we get to the end of this match, I feel like WWE missed an opportunity to do something big and important, and they kind of just didn't do it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Are we talking only good things right now, or can we throw in the negatives?
Go for it. Negatives.
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Negatives.
I have a few gripes, but I have a few good things. So I'm happy that they did the can I just
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The Money in the Bank briefcase. Miz decided tonight to cash in. So they made it a triple threat TLC match.
Which was a shock, and I do appreciate it because I didn't see that coming.
No, I didn't. I didn't either. I enjoyed that they made it a triple threat match. I enjoyed the fact that he cashed in. I'm happy that that's it. I'm assuming that's it. He cashed in. He was in the match. It went on for a while. I'm assuming the contract is done. No more Money in the Bank this year.
Yeah,
I'm happy about that. Only because I honestly didn't see Miz. I didn't want Miz to win the title with the Money in the Bank this year. I don't think it's his time this year. So I'm happy they were able to write off the contract this way, and put him in the match for a little bit. He took a few bumps, got his paycheck. He's good.
He took a nice, nasty table bump from Almost at ringside, who is almost ready to premiere in the ring. Get it?
I was so salty that he didn't do anything else besides just
right. That was
robbing him. He was chasing Morrison down, and I was like, please hurt him. Please hurt Morrison.
And it was so funny just to see Almost basically just go up to Miz and go, no, get down. You're going to go through this table. Like, I do like that of Almost. I do appreciate that he's this gargantuan man who puts very little effort into fucking somebody up the way he did the Miz.
Right? You're going to go through this table at ringside. Like, literally, he plucked...
No. You're not supposed to be in this match. Bye-bye.
He literally plucked the Miz off the top of the ladder when Miz was, like, doing the slow climb, like, doing this cocky thing up the ladder, like, oh, I'm going to win the title. Almost, like, who you would completely forget was at ringside for most of this match. I feel like, honestly, if for better psychology, if I'm nitpicking, Almost should have gotten involved earlier. If it's no disqualification, what's stopping him from helping AJ?
That's Almost his gimmick the entire time. He has not had to have gotten involved until someone is going to put their hands on AJ Styles. He's AJ Styles' bodyguard. I don't think it's his job to ruin matches and make sure Styles gets the win. For example, when he debuted and AJ Styles beat Riddle, Almost didn't do anything. Riddle just got scared by Almost, and Styles won the match. So I do think it's Almost it's his job to get involved when he absolutely has to.
Well, that's the thing, though. That's the thing. They mentioned it on commentary, too, because they were also confused at that fact. Yes, with the Riddle match, it was a regular match. Standard rules. There was disqualification. The TLC match is no disqualification. And there was a part where Drew literally looked at Almost and went like, move, step aside. And he just did it. Like, no, this is a no disqualification match. You can get your hands dirty and you're like bigger than him.
Yeah.
I was very confused at why he was just a gigantic paperweight standing ringside. the dude is huge. Like, I don't think people realize how big Almost is. He is taller than Braun Strowman.
Yep.
Braun Strowman is the same height as the Big Show.
Mm-hmm.
So that means Almost is bigger than the Big Show.
If you want a better, and if you want a more like accurate a comparison, Styles goes up to almost those nipples.
Yeah.
And
Basically.
he's only 5'11".
Yeah.
I'm the same height as AJ Styles. That's terrifying. That man Almost is huge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
I can
Yep.
only imagine.
And you know what?
I
I think once he got his hands dirty with the Miz, like that's when his involvement got really awesome. Like he just picks the Miz off the ladder like he was just a little child, and he's like, "You go through this table," and the Miz sells it like he's been hit by a truck. And then
one more praise. I think he's funny.
Yeah, you know what?
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that backstage moment with Riddle. I mean, with Miz and Morrison, where they gave him the peach pie, and he looks at it and goes, "That's a cupcake." I don't know why. I thought that was funny. It was stupid, but it was funny. I mean, because a pie compared to Almost probably is a cupcake. That man is huge.
Probably.
Going slightly off topic, but something I would potentially enjoy seeing, depending on how long they're going to keep AJ in the title picture. I think it would be entertaining and a great way to let Almost have some match time and be trained a little bit more. Have AJ and Almost team together and go after the tag titles.
I wouldn't mind that.
I wouldn't mind that either.
And stale the tag team division is right now.
Yeah.
I think it'd be entertaining as hell.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, as long
Considering I know everyone's scared of Almost being green, he's paired right now with the best wrestler in the world. You don't think that Styles isn't sitting him down? It's like, okay, kid, or okay, Almost, I'm gonna teach you a thing or two. You think he's not taking him under his wing?
No,
Right.
You have Styles who knows what he's doing. Literally, like there are only a few people that know what they're doing, and AJ Styles is on that list. And then you have countless big men in the business right now. Like, some of them don't act like big men. Like Drew McIntyre can play a big man depending on who he's in the ring with. But like, you got Strowman,
and people don't remember
Big Show, Kane, Undertaker. You have a bunch of these guys that can teach Almost how to play that big guy mentality.
In 2016, people don't remember that Big Show took Braun Strowman under his wing. And I think Big Show was the reason why Strowman got better, because he was under the learning tree of Big Show. Like,
do you remember their they had a really underrated series of matches in 2017 also throughout the spring, Braun and Big Show. Their cage match, especially, I remember that being really, really good. I remember they imploded the ring and Braun Strowman gets up like, it was absolutely nothing.
So I think if you put him under the learning tree of guys like Big Show and Kane, and especially with Styles, Almost, he has potential.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Don't
Almost
give him all the credit, but we'll see what they can do with him, because they are slowly, and I mean slowly, letting him do things. We didn't know what his name was. They weren't letting him talk. They weren't letting him get physical.
Well, he doesn't need to talk. Look at how big he is. He doesn't need to talk.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but eventually everybody's got to talk.
Yeah.
I don't think Brock Lesnar should ever talk. They still let him talk.
I didn't think Goldberg should have ever talked, but, look at what they did with him.
Everyone
but
wrestling has to talk at one point. So if you're going to have to make him talk little by little, please.
Yeah, and little by little in the ring also. Don't have him go eliminate AJ from the Royal Rumble next month or anything. Don't do that, please. But
I just want to see him wrestle so I can see him in the largest pair of boots and trunks.
Okay, so I found a match, an NXT Battle Royal that was on YouTube. It was a random live show. Almost was in it. Unfortunately, he was probably super green because all he literally did was walk around the ring. He
Yeah.
barely touched anyone. He just walked around looking all ominous and junk.
And
Poor guy.
He maybe punched one guy.
in considering he's 8 foot tall, almost should be able to clear the ring in a battle royal.
Yeah.
But I digress. So going back to the match, Miz cashes in. It's a triple threat now. That was a nice surprise.
Mhm.
And I know Zack was probably upset that almost chased Morrison out, made him look like a chump again.
Okay, hold on. Morrison did not look like a chump there. So here's the thing. Morrison only looked like a chump because he slowly ran away from Omos. He should have fucking bolted out of there.
Yeah, that was so weird.
Being the parkour master that he is, and I will admit, the gimmick's chair breaking over Omos's back was really cool. And that visual of him looking over his shoulder ominously.
That
man.
made Omos look like a beast.
It made him look like $1 million is what it did. And then he chases Morrison out of the arena. So now it's one-on-one. And it's a really dramatic, like, slow climb up the ladder with all three guys.
I really woke up for this match because I was just like, what's going to happen now? Is McIntyre really going to retain? They could put the title on Styles right now because the dynamic has changed. Or are we really going to see The Miz win the WWE Championship in the last pay-per-view of 2020? Something we never thought would have happened.
With Raw having record low ratings, I don't think there was any way they would have put the title on The Miz. But all due respect, I don't think they would have done that. But that was a really dramatic finish. AJ takes a really nasty bump to the outside, which had me scared stiff. Drew and Miz fight for like another minute or so. Drew hits the Claymore. He hops up the ladder. He doesn't climb because, remember, his legs hurt. He hops up the ladder, grabs the title, and thank God Drew retains the title. I'm like,
kind of hoping for the title change just for the shock factor alone. I feel like if there was a time to put the WWE Championship on AJ Styles,
yes.
I feel like right now would have been a really good time to do it.
And I wouldn't have minded.
Oh, here's the thing. I would have loved Styles to have won because this would have been a good time. And I would have liked to have seen The Miz win just for the shock factor alone. And we know The Miz can get under anyone's skin like it's nobody's business. So I would have liked to have seen it for that. But I'm not going to complain about McIntyre. I was just kind of like oh, man, that could have been cool.
Yeah. No, I'm in the same boat. I would have loved to have seen AJ win. But, I mean, right now, probably not the best time. I mean, I had a lot of fun with this opener. I honestly gave it 4 stars. I'm glad it was a failed cash-in. Very dramatic finish. Good work. Some weird psychology issues here and there, but not really too many complaints for me.
I'll be a little nicer to the match. I'll give it 3.5. There was some good moments in this match, but for the most part, it was all right. And I thought the ending added a lot to the match, drama-wise. But it's nothing compared to what we're going to talk about later with Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns.
Right. Kris?
I'm with Tomas. I'm gonna give it a 3.5, and that's me being generous.
Wow.
It was kind of just standard TLC storytelling. Drew with the knee was good. There was a point where Drew just like was wailing on AJ, which was nice big guy, little guy tactic. There was a part where AJ was going after Drew's knee, and they went to the LED turnbuckle thing. However, AJ was on the outside and Drew was in the inside, and they were gonna do the thing where they wrap the guy's knee around the post. And Drew like scooted. He like hopped. He was a little bit far away, and I saw him just go like, okay, I gotta get to it because he's not getting me there.
Getting into position.
I was like, okay. I liked Miz's cash in. That changed it up. Also, it got the contract off of Miz, which is good. Now they don't have to worry about that till next Money in the Bank.
Hopefully they can not fuck it up this time because if you want to add it to the list of disappointing things in 2020, pissing away the Money in the Bank contract.
Well,
they had opportunities to do stuff with it, and they just didn't.
I think Otis winning it was a good thing. Them wasting it away with Otis though.
It was a bad.
Otis had so much momentum.
He did.
Right after that Money in the Bank win.
mm-hmm.
If he cashed in within like a month, maybe 2 months after, I could see it.
Oh yeah.
But they just waited.
And then Roman Reigns happened. And by the time Roman Reigns was the head of the table, it was like there's no way they can put the Universal title on Otis.
No, because yeah. So I liked that they gave it to Otis. I was disappointed that Miz won. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too.
But yeah, no. It was a good, solid match. Some ups, some downs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I say something real quick about this Money in the Bank situation? I am still super salty that they did not give AJ Styles the briefcase after he was literally killed in the Boneyard match.
And
like,
you know what?
That was a perfect chance to do it.
That's why we have one in 2021. They could always put it on him then.
But, like, I feel like, especially after what AJ went through with The Undertaker, like, I think that's the perfect way to redeem him because keep in mind, AJ did not get one single pay-per-view victory in the year 2020. Not one. And I think Money in the Bank would have been, think about it. He was eliminated from the Rumble. He lost
the Black Elimination Chamber.
He was buried alive by The Undertaker.
He lost the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yep.
He lost.
He wasn't on Clash, or no, he wasn't on SummerSlam. Wasn't on Extreme Rules. Yep, he did not. Oh no! He won Survivor Series. Screw me. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, he
won. He gets one.
mm-hmm. He gets one, but that was a clean sweep of Team Raw. It wasn't a single victory.
No victory. He gets one.
Yeah, he gets one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was wrong then. So no, I think
it's still a pretty miserable pay-per-view record though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's a heel, you know.
Also, Styles is a big enough star that they can always give him the briefcase. This was probably their one and only chance to give it to Otis.
I have a feeling if he doesn't win the Rumble, he'll get the briefcase.
Yeah. Styles is a guy that can always give him a briefcase. They can always give him a Royal Rumble. I mean, as dramatic as it sounds, this is probably the one and only time they could have pushed Otis. Because already WWE is just like, you know what? Back to the lower card you go. Go fuck off with Chad Gable and do something.
But the thing is, they literally just gave the guy the Money in the Bank contract because it literally dropped into his hands. And they weren't planning on giving him the title. So what was the point of it? Then they gave it to another guy.
Everybody got in this situation. Mandy Rose, Otis, Tucker, Miz, Morrison, they all got fucked in this situation.
He lost his briefcase. He lost his girlfriend because she switched brands. He lost his tag team partner. And then, now he's...
Who has not been on screen for a while.
Nope.
Yep.
Bona fide. Anywho.
See you on main event, Tucker. Yeah.
Thing. On to a match next that I groaned at. But the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Sasha Banks and Carmella really surprised me. And I'm going to break down my thoughts into 3 lovely segments. 1, I'm going to rip Carmella a new asshole for being a terrible person. 2, I'm going to give her some constructive criticism. And 3, I'm going to praise her. So I don't like Carmella. I as a person, she's horrible. She's a terrible person. And a lot of wrestling fans know why, is because Corey Graves, the commentator, cheated on his wife, and he also has kids with Carmella, and now they flaunt their relationship all over WWE, and it honestly just makes me sick to my stomach. I've listened to podcasts with Graves and Carmella on them. It makes me sick. I hate when Graves gawks at her on commentary. She makes me sick. Every time I hear Graves talk about her, I want to throw up. So as a person, Carmella right off. I'm sorry, Kamala. May your soul rest in peace. I will never mistake you for her ever again.
Hey, that's our next vice president. Don't talk trash about Kamala like that.
Kamala, well, the WWE Hall of Famer Kamala, who I was referring to. Everyone that was offended by that, I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. Here's the thing. I didn't hate this match either. That being said, like, Carmella took a lot of time off, and she comes back with this completely new character, and I honestly feel like she's improved immensely in the ring.
So, here comes the constructive criticism. I don't get the gimmick change, why it needed to happen. Sure, she got new ring attire. Sure, she has a new theme song. Sure, she has a different promo style. Her moves are the same. Her finisher has not changed. I feel like it's a pointless gimmick change, and the WWE doing it just for the sake of doing it. Just for the sake of repackaging somebody.
She looked to me with the vignettes like a female Fandango, like another ballroom dancer.
Interesting.
I don't
just
know.
Like, oh, I'm glamorous, I wear dresses, and I drink champagne, which I didn't think drinking champagne could be a gimmick, but apparently it is.
It sounded like ballroom music to me, but...
Yeah, I just don't... It reminds me too much of when Tennille Dashwood was in WWE as Emma, and they did the Emelina thing.
Yeah,
I was literally just thinking that.
Yeah, they threw that to the side because thank you for not destroying Tennille Dashwood's career just yet. God.
No,
Bad
not yet.
flashback to that. Carmella as a wrestler, however, I think she's more among the underrated. Her submission game is very on point. She's one of those girls that everyone kind of just brushed off as, oh, she's not a wrestler. She's an NBA dancer. She ain't going to do shit. She debuted with Big Cass and Enzo. Where the fuck are they now? Carmella's still in WWE. So I will give her that much as a performer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Carmella's not moonwalking anymore. She's got a brand new gimmick, and WWE's really trying to make this Emelina style gimmick work. But, I mean, I feel like the match was also good partially because, granted, she was in the ring with Sasha Banks, who's probably one of the best female workers on the roster right now. If you're going to
slap this gimmick on anyone, Carmella, sure, why not? She's the least person to get hurt by this, as opposed to a Tennille Dashwood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But this match was pretty good. I mean, it was a great second half sequence. Lots of really good counters. I really like the Code of Silence as a finisher from Carmella. I mean, pretty much, they just do some spots. Carmella hits a weird-looking X Factor, which spiked Sasha on her head, and it did not look comfortable, but thankfully she was okay.
Scary.
Yeah.
Also, can we talk about the real MVP in this match?
Reginald
Thomas. He was
God
the
damn
real.
it.
He was the real MVP
I feel like
match.
everyone fell in love with Reggie during this match. Everyone
God
likes
damn it.
Reginald now. Who cares about Carmella's gimmick? We're here for Reginald.
He's the MVP of this feud. He's taking bumps. He's out there putting in work. He's assisting Carmella with the moves. Reginald deserves all the credit.
Okay. Even fucking Michael Cole, who I bashed earlier, made a really good observation because Reginald assisted Carmella with a Hurricane Rana on the outside. And Michael Cole yells at the referee. He's like, why is that not a DQ? And I'm like, you're right, Michael Cole. Why is that not a DQ?
Did Reginald put his hands on Sasha Banks?
No, but he helped Carmella with a move.
Did he physically harm Carmella?
Somewhat, because it's a Hurricane Rana on the floor.
Then if he didn't physically harm either of them, I don't see how that's a disqualification.
Oh my God. Getting right into the semantics here.
You guys are thinking with logic. Why are you thinking with logic?
WWE we're talking about.
This is WWE. Not thinking with logic at all.
Reginald is out there bumping like a motherfucker for Sasha Banks. So he deserves all the credit in this match.
He really does,
he has some clean bumps, too.
Oh, yeah. Hashtag push Reginald Thomas. Get on it, WWE.
Yeah.
I want to see him in the Royal Rumble next month.
I guarantee you Reginald is going to have t-shirts that are way better than Buddy Murphy's. Like,
I will buy one of Reginald's.
Everybody knows that Buddy Murphy's t-shirt right now is like the worst thing ever. But
I haven't seen Murphy's shirt. I'll have to go check that out.
I may
discuss this match. I'm gonna go look this up.
I'm not gonna give Mella shit for that one little mistake of spiking Sasha with the X Factor, because Sasha did come out okay, and at least Carmella doesn't injure opponents, unlike some other people I know. But here's the thing, like, again, good match. Basically Carmella just taps out to the bank statement at the end. I gave it 3.25. I'm being honest. That second half was, I think it was a way better match than people were giving it credit for.
Oh yeah, these two actually clicked very well, and with everything, they had good spots. They had good chemistry. I would like to see these two in a submission match. Actually, they both have very solid submissions that I think they could mold into a good match. And like I said, my boy Reggie put in work, and he's the real MVP of the match.
Freaking Reggie. Kris, what are your thoughts on this match?
Well, like we discussed earlier through text, I am not a fan of either Sasha Banks or Carmella. I have not been a fan of theirs since NXT. I'm definitely not a fan of them on the main roster. I personally don't think. Okay. They've improved since NXT, but the amount of time they've been in the business, the amount of time they've been on the main roster, Sasha's won the titles how many times? Sure, be it for like a day or a week or a month, but these guys should like kind of know what they're doing. And they do, but like, I don't know. I haven't been a fan of theirs. I don't think they've improved as much as they should where they're at in the business.
I do think this was a weird first feud for Sasha Banks to have after Bayley. I feel like the SmackDown women's roster has a lot of solid women's wrestlers she could have worked with. And just, oh, here's Carmella. Remember Carmella? She's back and she has a new gimmick. She's going to get a title shot. Like, I did think it was a little odd. But again, this match surprised me on how good these two work together. So yeah. I definitely get where you're coming from.
I agree with Tomas.
It was a good match.
Yeah.
It was a good match. They worked well together. They're pretty similar in size. I think Carmella has a few inches in height, but like they're pretty similar in like body type, which is good because it kind of lets you know what you're working with. They had some good spots. They had some not good spots. I agree. Reginald is the MVP of this whole match.
Damn, Reginald.
If I have to give it a grade, I'll give it a 3.
Okay.
That's fair. I mean, I personally agree with Tomas on the front that I think these two should have a rematch of the Royal Rumble with the stipulation. If not a submission match, these two could actually have a pretty decent I Quit match, actually, which is just
maybe
an intensified.
That sounds like more of a first SmackDown of the year kind of match. They probably want Banks to have moved on from Carmella by the time the Rumble. But hey, if they want to find somehow way to push that in another 6 weeks, then have fun with that, WWE.
Yeah. Speaking of pushing a gimmick for another few weeks, Asuka's backstage and Billie Kay approaches, and Billie Kay is hilarious. But they're pushing this gimmick of how she has a resume. All of us are actors, right? And we all love going into auditions and giving our resumes to everybody. But Billie Kay is making such a huge deal out of it. And she's giving her resume to freaking everybody for whatever they need.
So goddamn funny because she said she specialized in a skill and she says, oh, I'm going to write that down. And she literally just scribbles, turns her resume around, and you can see the little scribble that she made. That was fucking hilarious.
Yes.
I approve that her resume is like an appropriate resume with like all the information you need and the picture on the back. Like I just appreciate that it's like accurate. I'm like, that's nice.
Yeah.
Maybe Billy Kay did community theater back in the day, and she's just like showing us all up right now.
It's method. It's method, man.
She deserves better. Billy Kay deserves better.
Yeah, but she basically she approaches Asuka and asks her to be her tag team partner tonight against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, and Asuka's like, "No, thank you though. I've already picked my partner. It was Charlotte." But anyway, so basically.
We had the Raw titles before that, right?
Yes. Everybody, yeah. But yeah, speaking of tag titles, we have the New Day defending the Raw tag titles against the Hurt Business, the best thing going on Raw right now, probably.
And Shelton Benjamin, and I was discussing it with Zack over text, but I'll bring it up on here too. I don't know what's gotten into Cedric Alexander lately, but I love it, and I want them to keep going with it. Because nothing against Shelton Benjamin and Lashley, but they don't emote charisma. So it's nice to see Alexander step it up and actually be the charismatic one of the group. Because he's out there, God bless the man, but his voice cracks are hilarious. He's trying to sound all intimidating. His voice is cracking. He's standing on his tippy toes to get up in Kofi Kingston's face. He's being all intense. He's like, I don't know what it is. And then when he wins matches, he's running around the ring and like celebrating like he won the world title. And I don't know what it is, but I like it. And like I said, they low-key have something planned for Alexander, and I'm so happy.
Hey, Tomas, maybe Cedric needs a no loud noises match in WWE to not have the voice cracks anymore.
My God, I love that match. That is unironically my favorite match of all time. Kris, when you have time, look up Cedric Alexander versus ACH in a no loud noises match. Thank me later.
Oh, yeah. And that
I
goes.
feel like this is a PWG match.
It's Ring of Honor versus another promotion. It was a cross-branded show. You'll thank me later.
And that goes to all of the viewers. Please watch the No Loud Noises match because it is fantastic. But so this was a very good tag team championship match, I felt.
Match of the night.
Really? You thought it was match of the night? Wow.
I was just gonna say, this match was good. I think their matches on Raw were better, but I feel like you can't go wrong with these four guys. Like,
no,
he may be a plank of wood, but Shelton Benjamin is still one of the best athletes in the business. Yeah, he may not be able to leap up on the top rope like he used to, but damn, he's still throwing superplexes that are so clean. Alexander is Alexander. I feel like Benjamin is looking into the past when he looks at Alexander, because those two are damn near identical when it comes to the athleticism.
Yeah.
And honestly, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, everyone in this match was solid.
Yeah, just good teamwork all around, good chemistry from everybody. MVP was fired up at ringside.
They had a nice sequence at the end, though.
Nice athletic sequence. Kofi
to the handspring enziguri,
yes.
Into the pay dirt.
Kofi hit the most beautiful SOS I've ever seen on Cedric Alexander because he got some air on it. It was, I mean, the SOS is a cool move.
Yeah. I'm happy he actually got a clean one tonight because, like, the last couple of times he's been trying to do it, I don't know, the SOS has kind of been a little sloppy. So I'm happy he got a clean one.
Yeah, like Kofi Kingston has won titles with that move, so it's nice to see him pull it off nicely.
Yes, absolutely. But so the ending of the match comes around, and this is where it gets a little bit interesting, I think, because Shelton had Kofi. Yeah, it was Kofi in the ring. So I believe he hit Kofi with the pay dirt, and then he's ready to hit him with one more move.
No, I thought he put Woods. He hit Woods with pay dirt because that eliminated Woods from the match. Because like I said, that was the handspring. Oh, yeah. I know Benjamin did something to Kingston.
Yeah.
And that led to what you're about to talk about.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And Kofi was for sure the legal man. You might be correct on the Woods getting the pay dirt, but he was ready to hit something else on Kofi. But Cedric gets a blind tag in. Shelton's kind of perplexed by it. And then Cedric runs in and hits Kofi with the lumbar check and pins him to win the tag team titles. Cedric Alexander just pinned a former WWE champion.
For the second time.
Yeah, for the second time for the tag titles, and I don't know if the announcers put that over, but
the minute this match ended, well, first of all, no, they're not because they don't like talking about Kofi Kingston as WWE champion for whatever
which
reason.
is a damn shame.
Yeah, I said Alexander won the tag team titles, not him and Benjamin. Alexander won the tag team titles tonight. He was the real, pardon the pun, MVP of the match, and I just had a really neat idea, but I will save that until after you guys give your thoughts.
Man, yeah, I'll let you go first, Chris. Why do you think this was the match of the night?
Okay, so individually, you have Shelton Benjamin and Kofi Kingston, who are veterans in this business.
Mm-hmm.
Shelton Benjamin was tag team champion way back in the day.
Yeah.
He knows tag team wrestling. Kofi also knows tag team wrestling. And then you have Alexander, who is insanely athletic and super quick, probably one of my favorite finishers of wrestling today. The lumbar check is nasty, and he does it the same way like every time, and that's hard to do because guys have different body types. You're never in the ring with the same guys, and I have never seen the lumbar check vary drastically at all. It's always been consistent.
Except for when he's facing Candice LeRae and he sends her into fucking orbit.
Yes. I love it. I don't know how it has so much kickback to the point the guy just flies off. It's a pretty finish to me. I like the lumbar check.
It is.
It's
and
great.
Then you have Xavier Woods, Austin Creed. I have been a fan of his since he was in TNA. I think he went by Consequences Creed.
Yes, sir.
He is a textbook wrestler. Xavier knows his stuff in this business, and I appreciate him. He's entertaining. He's athletic.
So
he knows.
Woods is so damn good, and I don't think he realizes how good he is because his number one passion is with video games. If Vince McMahon put a gun to his head and said, quit up, up, down, down, or you're out of here, Woods would say, see ya. He would quit professional wrestling to go play video games. So looking at his passion with that, I don't think he realizes how good he is in the ring. Or maybe he does, and he's just a very humble human being. But no, Woods is damn good.
Yeah, no, but all four of these guys are like top shelf. And I really appreciate the teams that they have. You have the New Day, who are 10-time champions. They've been running this division for years now. And then you have the Hurt Business. Sure, they're new, but I don't know. Those guys seem tight. They seem to connect really, really well.
How I look at it as you have MVP, who is a veteran. You have Lashley, who is a veteran. You have Benjamin, who is a veteran. And then you have little brother Cedric Alexander that they, he's damn good in the ring, but with all of their experience, they can take him under their wing and say, like, hey, we're going to give you some pointers. We've been doing this for some time.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a tweet. I saw a tweet actually right after they won the title. Shout out to the guy who did this, but he made me feel really old because the last time Shelton was a tag team champion was back in 2003 with Charlie Haas. And he tweeted, "You want to feel old? Last time Shelton Benjamin was a tag team champion, Finding Nemo was #1 at the box office."
Oh.
And I'm like, Jesus.
Not counting the 24/7 title, the last time Benjamin held a title in the WWE was what, 2009?
2000. It was 2009. Yeah, because he was the U.S. champion at that point.
Yep.
God.
So, my idea.
Much deserved.
So I know we were talking about this. I know Lashley is feuding with Riddle right now. and a lot of people want Riddle to win the title. Considering that blind tag from Alexander and how eccentric he's been and how off the wall he's been, what if Alexander gets a little too excited and he takes the title off Lashley?
I like that idea.
No. I don't think that's going to be a thing. I think this him being eager is going to lead somewhere, but it's all in the look. That look that Shelton Benjamin gave him. I don't know who's turning on who, but it's not going to happen immediately. I'm talking this is after Mania at least.
Yeah.
But that the look Shelton gave Alexander right after that tag, I was like, oh, okay, so Alexander's not going to be in the group after Mania or something? Because, like, this could be, like, the start of, like, a betrayal story.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like how what WWE wants Retribution to be, but failed at it horribly. So they do a better job with the Hurt Business, which it wasn't even supposed to be that.
God, don't even remind me about Retribution right now, please.
No,
Golden Truth and Breezango. Golden Truth was supposed to be the team that got over, but Breezango did it, and they were just a team that was thrown together.
Yep. Exactly.
But yeah, I feel like right now with that, it just feels like if the Hurt Business were all brothers, you have the three older brothers in Lashley, Benjamin, and MVP, and Alexander is that little kid brother who's all hopped up on sugar right now, and they have to tell him, hey, dude, chill out. Take a chill pill.
Yeah. But, I mean, good match, and you had that moment where Bobby Lashley comes out to celebrate with them on stage, and you know WWE loves to do this when stables that are over hold all the gold. And I was telling Tomas earlier, that's why we did not get Lashley versus Riddle on this show. And they're probably saving it for the Royal Rumble if the dirt sheets are correct. But I think that's where Riddle wins the title, because if they were to do it tonight, you wouldn't have gotten that moment. So it was a cool visual. So
I would like to see Lashley holding that title for a little longer, but if they can build it right, then yeah, of course, I would not be against Riddle winning the title.
But good match, 3.5 stars. You know, not really too much to complain about. Good athleticism. So
I give it 2 3/4 because it was good. Just we've seen it on Raw a few times. I just think they did it on Raw better, and I feel like they got more time on Raw too.
Kris,
I'm disappointed in both of you.
Oh,
I give it 4.5.
Wow.
Hey, wow.
I give it 4.5.
Wow, wait.
The matches on Raw were better, but still the match of the night in my opinion compared to everything else. But I don't know, the older I get, the more I appreciate tag team wrestling. And it wasn't a good showing of classic tag team wrestling, but it had the guys be spotlight. They had their own spotlight for their moments, but there was a lot of tandem offense in this match that I really appreciated. There were sequences in the match that were just hit. There were no awkward gaps. There were no issues. It was just good sequences, good tags. I liked the match. I liked all four guys that were in there. I have nothing to complain about in this match.
Yeah, fair
it's kind of like every time I think the New Day is like, okay, can we reel it back on them? I see them wrestle, and I was like, oh no, this is fine. Keep them together forever.
This is fine. That's all good. But here we go. Speaking of tag team wrestling, you have the women's tag titles on the line. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, who's not like most girls, are defending the titles against Asuka and a mystery partner. It's Charlotte Flair. Tom Phillips is building up this huge mystery.
I didn't know that.
It's Charlotte Flair.
I had no idea it was going to be Charlotte Flair, and I'm being not even sarcastic right now. I had no idea it was going to be her, so that was a nice surprise for me. Charlotte Flair is also my favorite female wrestler currently, so
there you go.
Of course, I'm going to look out for her.
I joke when I say like, oh yeah, they're building up this mystery. It's Charlotte Flair, but like, I read the dirt sheet before the show, and I
Yeah,
saw, Charlotte Flair is at Tropicana
that's
Field.
That's how you genuinely get surprised in wrestling nowadays. Stay away from the internet.
Yep. Yep, basically.
I don't have access to the dirt sheet. However, I did find it predictable. Like this was before I watched the pay-per-view. I promise. It wasn't like she came out and I was like, I saw that coming. Like, no, I called it like 4 days ago when I found out it was going to be a mystery tag partner. And I was like, mystery tag partner, who's been out for a while?
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte.
Yep.
It's right before Royal Rumble. They could build her to possibly win that.
The way I see it,
I was like, who could team with Asuka? Because like
I thought they were just going to throw Mandy Rose in there just to be dumb.
I don't think so, because they want to keep Mandy and Dana together, even though.
Unfortunately.
Is Dana still injured?
No. I don't know.
Anyway, they want to keep Team Soccer Mom together, so I didn't think they were going to do that. I was like, who are they going to team with Asuka that's on the roster right now? And like no one was coming to mind, and I was like, okay, I doubt they're gonna do this comedy bit with Lana and Asuka anymore. So like you aren't gonna have them put a jobber, no offense, Lana, with Asuka, but I was like, who are they gonna put? And I was like, Charlotte's been out for a while. She wasn't
6 months.
She's
6 months.
She's fully recovered. She's been training. She's been talking about her and Almost doing stuff when he gets back. So I was like, she's in the running to be coming back here shortly. And
the way I see it,
at this point, Lana has 1 foot out the door anyway, so I'm pretty sure WWE's going to stop trying with her.
Is that a joke because they busted up her ankle or something?
No, I'm just thinking, like, if I were Lana,
1 foot out the door.
Oh, my God. I didn't even realize that.
God, no.
I want to go be with my husband, and WWE stop trying to get me to stay. Go let her be with her husband. Let Miro and Lana be a thing in AEW, because I want that.
Yep, basically. But, I mean, the way I see it, the match as it was decent. It wasn't really anything too spectacular. Shayna Baszler had some disgusting arm twists on Asuka, and I was like, the arm is not supposed to bend that way. The wrist is not supposed to bend that way.
I will say, this match went from I don't care to okay, you have four big names in there. Despite how we feel about Nia Jax, she is a name. Charlotte Flair being in there added a lot. Asuka's the Raw Women's Champion, and Shayna Baszler still deserves that push that they have yet to give her. So this match went from I really don't care to okay, I'm watching, I'm paying attention. The women's division on Raw, I'm sorry, needed Charlotte Flair because they weren't doing jack shit with anyone else.
Yep.
And Zack talked about this a lot. Save Becky Lynch for the SmackDown after Mania. Let Charlotte Flair and Asuka handle things on Raw. You got Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Bayley on SmackDown.
Yep.
So with Charlotte Flair back on Raw, that adds a ton of more interest into the women's division.
Exactly.
Because until she was back, they were just having Asuka destroy everyone in her way. Mickie James, Lana, Zelina Vega. There was nobody in mind that I thought on the Raw roster right now that could take down Asuka. Now that Charlotte Flair's back, Asuka might as well be a Ralph sitting in the back of the bus in The Simpsons. I'm in danger because her title reign's in danger.
Yep, she's gonna. Yeah, I think Charlotte's taking it from her next month at the Rumble. Honestly,
Yep.
I mean, not to get too deep into that, but yeah. Once Charlotte got the hot tag, the match got pretty good. She did her usual moonsault, does her usual Charlotte spots. I think she tried to put the figure eight on Nia, and Shayna broke it up, or it was the other way around. But I know that Charlotte pinned Shayna with the natural selection, and it really made me upset that she pinned Shayna. I really feel like she should have pinned Nia here.
Yeah, I know we all want to see Nia Jax take the pin, but
well,
I was very shocked actually.
Not even because of that, because like Nia was the one that put Charlotte out. So I feel like that would have been some better vindication than just, pinning Shayna Baszler again.
I was actually very shocked to see Charlotte and Asuka win the titles, just because who knows how long they're going to go with that. They may have just done it for the return.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed the match a lot more with Charlotte in it. I'll give it 3 stars. It was decent enough. Just I'm shocked with that finish, and I care less about the match, and I'm more excited about moving forward with Charlotte, because it's Mania time. She's going to be in that main event.
Yeah, 2 3/4 for me. Wasn't really anything too spectacular. I wasn't really super into this match like I was with the other ones. It was probably my least favorite match on the show, if I'm being completely honest. But, I mean, it was still fine. Pretty inoffensive. Kris, what do you think?
I'm gonna give it 2.5, 2 3/4.
Yeah.
I'm happy Charlotte's back. Bittersweet that Charlotte's back. At this point, I think she's already Hall of Fame status. She's pretty much done anything and everything they can just do with her. Like, she is the queen. Like, literally, she's done it all for a woman, unless now they're just gonna hit her with a bunch of first evers for women.
Yes.
But I feel like she's gotten to Beth Phoenix status at this point, because when Beth Phoenix was in her prime, she won the women's title a million times. There were no Royal Rumbles for her to win. There were no Money in the Bank. So I feel like that's why Beth Phoenix retired as soon as she did. There was nothing left for her to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I mean, decent enough match. I'm pretty sure Charlotte's gonna win the Raw Women's title at some point soon. But speaking of
Charlotte Flair will be like her father, and she will win 16 women's titles. Mark my words.
Yeah.
She's close, isn't she? She's 11?
She's up to 12. She's up to 12.
Damn, I didn't realize this. Close she was.
4 away.
Yep.
How hilarious! How hilarious would it be if she won 16 titles before Cena or anyone else got there?
I was just gonna say that.
She's probably going to.
Charlotte will beat her dad's record before John Cena gets another world title.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. While we're on the topic of world championships, next up is the tables, ladders, and chairs match for the Universal title. Kris Lash's favorite wrestler, Roman Reigns, going up against Kevin Owens. My God, where do I even begin? This was the best match on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Going into this, I liked Kevin Owens jumping Roman Reigns at the beginning of the match.
Yes.
It showed how smart Kevin Owens is, because he realized, hey, for the past 3 weeks, Roman Reigns and his little lapdog, Jey Uso, keep jumping me from behind. Yep. I know Jay's going to get involved in this match, so I'm going to get the jump on them. I'm going to attack them with the steel chair. I'm going to beat the shit out of Jay and make sure he doesn't get involved in the match for the time being. So it just goes to show how smart Kevin Owens, the character, is. Because as a heel, he was smart, and as a babyface, you can still be smart too, without being, a dirty cheater.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for booking smart baby faces this time, WWE. It's not really that difficult to book a smart baby face like Kevin Owens, but I mean, these guys just tore each other apart for like 20 minutes. But Kevin Owens was fighting a 2-on-1 handicap match for most of this, because he tries to climb the ladder the first time early on. Jey Uso runs down to the ring and interferes, and they fight for a little bit. Kevin Owens, because he's a smart babyface, tries to take him out of the equation, and he Pillmanizes Jey Uso, which I loved. Like, the way he was selling that was so incredible. Jey Uso.
I have only a couple of nitpicks with this match. One of them being, it's kind of a shame how Jey Uso went from this valiant babyface that you could believe that could win the Universal title to he's everyone's punching bag right now for Roman Reigns, including Roman Reigns. This poor guy is just getting the shit beaten out of him at every single chance. And I know this is just probably part of a bigger arcing storyline which will probably turn to Jey Uso turning back into a babyface and just absolutely laying out Roman Reigns, probably with his brother Jimmy. But just right now, it's a little sad to see Jey just being the human punching bag.
Yep. Yeah, it's I mean, all I can really say is his brother cannot come back soon enough because they need those tag team titles, and they will put on clinics with the Street Profits. I can guarantee you that.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, Kevin Owens, here's the thing. Roman has had such an incredible run so far as the tribal chief, and his matches I feel like right now have been the best in his entire career because he makes you believe that the other guy can win. Nobody going in was expecting Kevin Owens to win this thing because they were like...
Just like Hell in a Cell, just like Clash of Champions, just like Survivor Series, the drama is what added to this match.
Yes.
The drama and storytelling, and honestly, this is what I want to see in a TLC match. I want to see demolition. I want to see tables broken, chairs smashed across backs, going through ladders, jumping off ladders, and I think Reigns and Owens did a better job at that than McIntyre and Styles did.
Oh, Kevin Owens, this poor guy, he was put through so many tables, not just tonight, but like in the build up to this guy's been like killed. He's been put through so many of these things. And like, I understand like the whole saying of like, you're going to have to kill me if you're going to make me lose this match, Roman. Well, little did he know what was going to happen in the main event. But you know, Kevin told that story so well, and there were a couple of times where he got very close, and I really wanted Kevin Owens to grab the title, and I wanted him to win.
Same.
You know,
we do need a babyface Kevin Owens world champion at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's Roman Reigns' time, so I understand why he didn't win the title. But damn, this match made me want that.
Yeah,
and I was watching Ladder Wars between him and El Generico from 2009 a couple days ago. And I don't think everyone realizes how good Kevin Owens is in a ladder match. He knows how to work that match. For a guy who you don't think would know because of his appearance, he knows. He knows how the ladder match goes.
Yes, absolutely. Shout out to El Generico, by the way, helping out all the orphans right now. Basically,
man, that Sami Zayn is such a douchebag with the Intercontinental title. I don't know why I said that.
Oh God, that Sami Zayn is nothing like El Generico right now. But
no, absolutely not.
Yeah, so this was match of the night. I did not like this match more than the Clash of Champions triple threat for the IC title. Ironically enough, with Sami Zayn, I thought that match was better, but this was still perfectly solid. And
my favorite kind of babyface in what Kevin Owens did in this match is I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to go down. You can put me through a million tables and I'm going to keep getting back up. And after Owens went through like the fourth table and he was still getting up trying to get Reigns down, I appreciated that. My other nitpick with this match was I thought the ending was a little weak.
Yeah, the ending was a little bit anticlimactic. I'll agree with that.
It was a low blow, but I couldn't tell it was a low blow from the start. I thought it was just a punch to the gut. I was like, really? That's how you're going to end this match? Like, I know there's only so much you can do, but no, I love this match. I give this match 4.5 stars. This
Same.
was my match of the night.
4.5 stars for me as well. But Kris, I know you had some things to say about this thing, so what you got?
I actually don't have much to say. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 because Kevin was in there.
Damn.
I like Kevin because he's from that like extreme background. Like he knows his way around extreme rule matches. Like he's done tables, he's done chairs, he's done ladders. This guy grew up in the indies.
Yeah.
And a lot of indie matches get out of hand sometimes because they're in it for the excitement. They're in it for the thrill. They're in it because they know that's what the fans like in a match.
Yep.
So it could be a basic match. Someone's still going through a table. So like he I feel like the reason why he had so much carnage done to him is because that's what he grew up in. That's what he did when he was in the Indies. He's a very violent wrestler. He knows the art of hardcore and he embraces it.
With that being said, he kind of reminds me of John Moxley in a way. Not so much death match style that Moxley has, but I get what you mean with that hardcore style mixed in with that, just really good wrestling ability. He kind of reminds me of Moxley in a way.
Kevin Owens would do phenomenal in original ECW.
Oh yeah, he would.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree with that for sure. Also, just the storytelling in this match, the trash talk that they had with each other, just slapping each other in the face. Roman telling him, "You're a disgrace to your family," and Roman really pushing the button right there. There was also a point where Reigns speared Kevin Owens to a table in the corner of the ring, and I was really, really concerned that Roman broke his collarbone right there. But turns out
equally as ring when Roman Reigns went for the spear through the barricade and Owens moved out of the way and Reigns collided with the barricade. That was a nasty spot too.
That was sick. I mean, thankfully he's okay. Apparently that was just Roman's perfect selling of it. But I was legit convinced that he had broken his clavicle right before my eyes. But there you go. I mean, Owens is hitting stunners on those guys. He's hitting pop-up power bombs on Roman through a table. It is just a human demolition derby, which is, if I could use the WWE term for a minute. But Roman basically, he knocks Kevin Owens out with the guillotine choke on top of the ladder, and, Owens falls off. Roman grabs the title, and he retains.
Also, didn't Paul Heyman cut a promo earlier in the night where he said, my favorite sport is, aside from pro wrestling, is NASCAR, because I like the demolition. I don't need to watch NASCAR tonight because we got this match. I love that analogy.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. It was excellent wrestling for sure. Honestly, before we get to this main event, one more thing. After watching this match, I really, really want Kevin Owens to win the Royal Rumble next month. I really, really do. So he can get that vindication on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. None of this Roman versus Goldberg crap, because that's bullshit. I don't want that.
No.
Said it once, I'll say it again. I don't want it either, but we were supposed to get it last year, and we didn't. If WWE needs to pull it off like a Band-Aid and just get it out of the way, I'm okay with them just, again, getting it out of the way.
Then get it out of the way at the Royal Rumble. Get it out of the way at the Royal Rumble. At least that's a big show. And Goldberg,
they'll do it at Mania. I know that we know WWE, and if they're gonna do it, it may be a bunch of bullshit. It may be Goldberg just talking shit on the bump. Which we've seen a lot of We've seen Riddle fucking get in Brock Lesnar's face. Where's our Riddle versus Lesnar match? Which I still want that, by the way.
It's never gonna happen.
Oh God, I want that so bad. But I mean, here's the thing: Riddle versus Brock is more likely to happen than Riddle versus Seth Rollins. Riddle versus Seth Rollins will never happen. Rollins hates Riddle in real life.
Oh, I was gonna say, is there some backstage heat? Oh, maybe that's why maybe that's why Rollins went to SmackDown and Riddle went to Raw. They're trying to keep those motherfuckers away from each other.
Yep. Notice how Rollins did not look at Riddle once during the Survivor Series match, and he did not interact with him. Yep.
Wow. I know Riddle has been known to rub people the wrong way, and I remember when they flashed back to SummerSlam last year when Goldberg came back from his match with Dolph Ziggler, and Riddle was trying to get in his face, like, motherfucker, this guy just had a match. Like, what? You can't wait a few minutes before you fucking get up in his face like that?
Right.
Like,
So, digressing a little bit, let's talk about the biggest talking point of this show. In a show named TLC, we would expect Reigns or Owens or McIntyre and Styles to headline. Instead, we get the Firefly Inferno match between The Fiend and Randy Orton.
A match concept that did not get introduced until 4 days ago.
On social media. Not even They didn't even really say anything about it on SmackDown. Okay, let me get into a rant real quick, please.
Okay.
Let me just say something real quick. So we're all actors, like I mentioned earlier. I am a student of the game. Storytelling 101 for you guys. Here's a little lesson for all the viewers here. One of the most valuable things I learned as an actor, going to school for it, in script analysis, no less, one of the main pillars of storytelling are the given circumstances. I'm sure everybody that's an actor is probably groaning right now because they know what the given circumstances are. I'm going to focus on 3 real quick. Who are these 2 characters? You have The Fiend and you have Randy Orton. Simple enough. What do they want? The Fiend wants to get revenge on Randy Orton for burning down his damn house. And Randy Orton wants to rid himself of The Fiend forever. Simple enough. They both have objectives. But here's where things get a little bit dicey with this match. How did they do it? How are they supposed to get what they want? WWE never explained how you win the Firefly Inferno match. Now, I realize that there have been 4 Inferno matches in the past, and they've all ended the same way. The only way to win is to set your opponent on fire. But they explicitly called this the Firefly Inferno match. And I'm like, what the hell are they going to do with this? I mean, I know what an Inferno match is, but I can't just, like, assume that, you know, somebody's going to get set on fire here. You know, because then it just makes me look like an ass.
100% agree. Like I said, they waited until 4 days ago to introduce that this was going to be a Firefly Inferno. And when I heard that, I thought, you win by lighting your opponent on fire. Is WWE really going to do that in 2020?
No.
And like I was contemplating the same thing. Is this going to be like that stupid Ring of Fire match in SummerSlam 2013? Is it going to be a cinematic match where Orton has to go into the Firefly Funhouse and it's going to all be on fire and he needs to kill the Fiend that way? Little did we know, right before the match started, Mike Rome said, this is an Inferno match. You win by lighting your opponent on fire.
That was the top secret.
Okay, I wasn't mentally prepared for this. You'd think for an Inferno match, they would give us a week or 2 to anticipate it. They waited 4 days before the pay-per-view and after Raw. So in case you were on social media or if you were just watching the commercial for SmackDown, you told me that this was going to be an Inferno match. I had no idea. So again, that just goes to show how unorganized and how all over the place WWE is and how they thought of this literally at the last minute and didn't bother to tell anybody.
Yes.
Until the very last second.
By the way, shout out to my homeboy, Mike Rome, because he was awesome announcing this. Like, he announced it like he was so excited. Like, as if he wasn't about to see the massacre in front of him. He was just a little innocent Mike Rome.
I wonder how Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt felt when they were told 4 days ago, hey, by the way, this is going to be an Inferno match now, so get your ass to the Thunderdome. We're going to throw something together. I was like, oh, shit, I guess we're doing this.
Sheesh, yeah. And Randy looked so nervous before this. He walks out with black jeans and a jacket, which I'm sure you can buy on WWE Shop right now.
If anyone's looking for last-minute Christmas gifts and doesn't mind paying an extra $50 to get it here tomorrow.
If anybody's a big Randy Orton fan, there you go. It's a pretty nice looking jacket, though. I'm not going to lie. But he walks out without his normal ring attire because the announcers are like, because of the hazardous environment, Randy Orton is wearing like street clothes for this match.
Okay.
You know, like what if he loses? Orton looks nervous as hell. The Fiend does his grand entrance. The bell rings, and Tomas and I had the same thought. Where the hell is the fire? Normally the fire would be on the ring apron, but the bell rings and there's no fire to be found. But then the Fiend hits his sister Abigail. Randy Orton rolls out of the ring. He raises his arms like the Undertaker, and then the fire just bursts around the barricade, around the Thunderdome, and it is completely ablaze. And Randy Orton looks
pretty damn cool.
That was a sick visual. I love that.
I like the new like the fire sticks that they had.
That was cool.
In the beginning of the match, I was like, what is going on here? Why are there sticks? Are they like are they to contain the flames? What is going on? And then the fire hit and there was a spiral of fire around these, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. That's pretty.
Really
So
like
sick.
that they were able to do this because now the match can be fought all around the ring. Because, in a regular Inferno match, it has to stay in the ring. You ain't going anywhere. There's fire around the ring. And
I like that they opened it up.
There's no live audience, so they can put fire literally everywhere. We've all been to a live show. When Kane comes out, it doesn't matter if you're in the very, very last row. You feel that shit.
It's hot.
It is very hot. So thankfully, none of us have to experience that right now.
Well, imagine
and again.
Sorry to cut you off, but imagine being one of the competitors in this match. If you're talking about the heat, the Fiend is wrestling in this big, giant leather coat, and he's wearing a leather mask, and he's a big fella too. So,
two things. It literally took me until the end of the match to realize that Bray Wyatt never took his jacket off. Also, was it just me, or was blood coming out of the bottom of his mask?
I don't think it was blood. It looked black, like his eye makeup was running because of sweat.
I was going to say, that was some runny-ass makeup then, because I was like, what the fuck, is he bleeding? Is this gonna... Yeah, it was a very weird match, but cool visuals.
It was all about the spectacle, my friend, because the in-ring work between the two was nothing special. It was exactly what you would expect with a Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton match. We've seen it many times, including myself. I saw it live for House of Horrors, but we're not going to talk about that. This was infinitely better than the House of Horrors match. I'm just going to say that. Probably the best Inferno match in WWE history. I mean, that's kind of a low bar for them to jump over.
This was a cinematic match without being a cinematic match.
Yep.
Because when we get to the ending, you could obviously tell this match was pre-taped.
Oh yeah, that was another thing.
They probably did it the day before.
I'll get to that in a second, but let me just say also the Fiend pulls out a pickaxe to hit Randy Orton with, and I was like, well, that's not PG. And he's chasing him like freaking Jack Torrance around ringside. And there was one bit where he pulls out his old rocking chair, douses it with gasoline. There's a little line, of gasoline in front of it, and he sits Randy Orton in the chair, and he sets that line on fire. Orton moves just out of the way right before it hits him. That was a close call.
That was a cool fight. It was like watching a horror movie. It was like Randy Orton trying to fight the big monster. And that's another... So throughout this entire feud, I've been pondering who's the babyface and who's the heel. I always thought it was up for interpretation because you could just say, the Fiend is heel and Randy Orton's babyface-ish just because Fiend is a heel by default. But considering everything Randy Orton has done this year, I wouldn't say he's the babyface. And the way you can interpret it is think of Bray Wyatt as a demon. He is like the ghost of Christmas future. And he's here to punish Randy Orton for all of his sins he's done this year. For trying to end Edge's career. For trying, for attacking all of the legends. For brutalizing Drew McIntyre to take the WWE Championship. For burning Bray Wyatt's house down a few years ago. This is the Fiend trying to punish Randy Orton. And kind of making him like the Grim Reaper. Just like, Orton, you did all this stuff this year. You're going to pay for it. And you're going to pay by being lit on fire. That's how that's kind of justified Bray Wyatt being a baby face. And I use that in huge quotations. But it kind of it justified it for this match. That's how I looked at
it. Little did I know that Randy Orton burning Bray's house down was going to lead to this 3 years later. But, man, I mean... they're fighting around ringside, just kind of cutting to the end of the match itself. I think it was the end of the match. There was no bell for me to tell me it was the end of the match. But Bray has the mandible claw on Randy Orton, and Randy turns him around, and the Fiend's back engulfs in flames. His jacket catches on fire. The Fiend is looking at it, and he's like, oh, I'm on fire. And then he's chasing Randy Orton in the ring while his back's on fire. And I'm like...
His pants were on fire, too. So his pants must have been flame retardant as well.
And Randy Orton hits what many people are considering to be the greatest RKO of all time on the Fiend while he's on fire. That was dope.
Can't ever say I've seen that before.
That was super bitchin'. I really liked that. I don't know if I want to call it the greatest RKO in history, though. I think it's tied with the one I saw at Mania 31 with Seth Rollins. Like, that may just be personal bias from me because I was there live, but I don't know. That was dope as hell. But I like I like how the ending of the match, the Fiend is on fire. That does not knock him unconscious, but the RKO does.
Good point.
Good
point. Good point. I was still just in awe about what the hell was going on for me to pay attention to that.
As Kris would say, you're using logic. We're using logic right now.
You are.
So
I'm confused at why.
Randy Orton grabs a canister of gasoline from the outside.
Oh, God.
He douses the Fiend with it. And this is when it went from being cool to kind of being a little hokey because he lights the Fiend on fire. And then, bam, there's this awkward jump cut. They might as well have just pulled Bray Wyatt out of the ring and threw the prosthetic into the ring because you could obviously tell it wasn't Bray Wyatt. It was a dummy, and the dummy burned alive. And we're supposed to think that's Bray Wyatt. Sure, if you're a little kid, you probably thought it was, but, being a bunch of adults in our mid-20s, we can see right through that shit.
I will also say, after Orton did that, he rolls out of the ring over by where the fire was at ringside where he got Bray the first time, and he does the Orton pose. And the screen goes black. I was like, cool. You fucking prick, Randy. Like, there's no remorse.
So let's recap Randy Orton's year real quick. He tried to break Edge's neck, said he was doing it for the greater good, RKO'd his wife, then injured Edge again, tortured a bunch of old guys for a few months, held the WWE Championship for 3 weeks, and then to end the year off, he lit a man on fire. Randy Orton never ceases to amaze me.
Kris? What do you think? Here we go.
I don't understand the concept of an Inferno match. I never have ever since it was introduced. I hear nothing but bad things about it. Like, even the wrestlers that are like involved. Taker in his new there's a I don't want to say like a documentary because it's not a documentary. There's like an interview video thing with him and Kane about the Brothers of Destruction, and they talk about their Inferno match, and like they had nothing good to say about it.
I bet you're getting lit on fire.
You're getting lit on fire, and you work a whole match in like 500-degree heat inside the ring.
Exactly.
And they're both big fellas too, dressed in some pretty heavy costumes back then. So I'm sure they were not thrilled.
Thick mask, thick gloves, thick boots.
So I have a theory about that, and it intertwines with why Wyatt wore his jacket the entire time and why Randy came in full gear. You're playing with fire. I don't think they want skin exposed, so that's probably why Orton came in the street gear.
Good
point. And I think the reason the Fiend had the jacket on the entire time was because I think it was set up to catch fire. I think it was like a special material because it's the jacket that caught on fire.
Yeah,
like not much else caught on fire. Like you said, maybe the pants, I didn't catch it, but like majority of the jacket was on fire, and I think it was because it was like a special material that they could put lighter fluid or something on.
Yeah, it was a gimmick jacket for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I liked it. It was good. I mean, if I would give it maybe 3 3/4, 4 if I'm being generous.
I gave it the same, 3 3/4.
It was. I wouldn't say it was a wrestling match. It was a hardcore match. There was a lot of weapons involved. A lot of heavy hits. The Fiend played the overpowered character, which I love. I love the overpowered character from the Fiend. He plays it super well. Because like we've had overpowered guys, we've had big guys, we've had the Goldbergs, but this is like the Fiend is different, and this is what I think people appreciate about it. is the fact that it's a scary overpower.
Oh
It's
Yeah.
not like this guy is super strong like Superman. No, this guy is a freaking horror film villain monster created Frankenstein thing, and there's no way to put it down.
Right.
So I like that about it, because it's just like, what is it gonna take to put an end to this character? And like, think about the Hell in a Cell match with Rollins.
Oh,
That they just laid it on, and the
God.
Fiend came back, and now the Fiend caught on fire, and I guarantee you we're gonna see him in less than like 2-3 weeks. He's gonna be
It's
back.
very Undertaker-esque, because we've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
Undertaker put in caskets and set on fire, buried alive, put on the back of lowriders and backed into the set in fiery explosions. We've seen his brother Kane kicked into a pit of fire, and they always come back. So it's very Undertaker-esque. And I just came up with an excellent theory. Zach, you said that we're going to see Bray Wyatt at the Fiend at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Just because the Fiend is dead does not mean Bray Wyatt is dead. Remember,
What if we see
have established that Bray Wyatt and the Fiend are not the same person.
No.
So who's to say that Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt isn't going to show up on Raw tonight and he's going to be fucking furious
Oh,
and say something like, how you set him on fire, how could you, or like, just to let you know he's not dead, he's going to be back, and all this stuff. Like, Bray Wyatt's still going to have something to say. Just because the Fiend is dead, Bray Wyatt's still there. So I think that's going to be an excellent way to keep him on TV until the Fiend comes back.
I like that. I could totally see Firefly Funhouse Bray coming out in his sweater at the Royal Rumble in like the first 10 entries, getting eliminated super easily, and then like the Fiend coming back in like the last 5 and wrecking the place.
So if you're pulling 3 Faces of Foley from 1998 with Bray Wyatt in the Royal Rumble, I wouldn't be that surprised, but I'd be like, I've seen it done before. My theory...
Can't get Rambling Rabbit in the Royal Rumble. I mean, if it's in the Thunderdome, they could pull some weird shit and just have him like appear ringside and, I don't know, Braun Strowman bite his head off or something. I don't know. I'm being stupid at this point.
But, I think the Fiend is going to come back at some point. For those of you that think that the Fiend getting burned to a crisp is the end of the Fiend, it's not. He's going to come back.
If you think that's the end of the Fiend, then you obviously are not a fan of The Undertaker. Because if you were a fan, you would know that all this shit has happened to The Undertaker. Even worse.
Yep. Burned inside of a casket, driven back with a lowrider into the SmackDown set, as tasteless as that was right after Eddie Guerrero's death.
Buried alive. It's all happened to Taker, and it's all going to happen to the Fiend.
The Fiend is your perfect hybrid between Kane and The Undertaker. He has, those elements of Kane to him, obviously, from this match, but which I am disappointed there was no Kane tribute at some point. Nobody hit a chokeslam in this damn Inferno match. And I'm like, really? You're doing an Inferno match, which was Kane's thing. You would at least hit a chokeslam. Like,
well, they kind of tipped their hat when they ignited the flames around the barricade.
Oh yeah, that was like a Kane thing. That was
That's
perfect.
True. That's true. Yeah, but
if I had to give this match a rating, I give it 3.5. I think it served its purpose very well. But WWE, if you're gonna do an Inferno match, let us know like 2 weeks in advance. Don't wait until 3 weeks before the pay-per-view, please.
And I have a theory about that.
Okay.
So the world's crazy. We can all agree right now. The world's kind of crazy with everything going on.
Just a little bit.
I don't know. With the Thunderdome, I feel like they had to go jump through hoops A through Z. The reason I could be looking into this. I could be, searching for it, but I don't know. I feel like the reason why they made it the Inferno match, like super close to it, they might not have gotten the approval by the fire marshal until now, because that's open flame inside a building. And like we have mentioned several times already in the podcast, we're all actors. Live flame inside a building, there's a lot of things you got to do to get it approved.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
That's
a good point.
That's a very good point. And I flash back to the infamous hardcore match between Cactus Jack and Randy Orton. Cactus Jack was gonna light a barbed wire 2x4 on fire. Eric Bischoff had to come out and kind of kayfabe but work shoot, tell Foley, if you light that stick on fire, the fire marshal will be here within minutes and he will shut this pay-per-view down. Kind of telling the fans, like, this is why we're not doing this. Like, we don't have approval. So unless you all want to go home without seeing this match, don't light that on fire.
Yeah.
And then we have the famous R-Truth smoking a cigarette in the O2 arena, and he got in trouble for that because you can't do that.
You can't do that. No, but they did it here. It was definitely a spectacle. Best Inferno match WWE's done. As far as what this means, like, I mean, the Fiend's definitely coming back. You haven't seen the last of him because he's just too popular. His merch sells too much. So the thing, TLC, man, this was, like I said at the top of the review, this was show of the year for me. 9 out of 10. Consistently entertaining. I mean, very eventful. I liked it more than SummerSlam, liked it more than the Rumble. Not much else more for me to say about it.
Like I said, every single match delivered something to me that I didn't expect. You had the cash in for the WWE Championship. You had a surprisingly good match between Carmella and Sasha Banks. We had a Raw Tag Team title change. We had the return of Charlotte Flair. We had a very good Universal Championship match. And we had this crazy main event. So with that, the show gets a 7.5, but I'm going to bump it up to 7.75 for at least giving me something different within every match.
For sure.
So I do appreciate this show giving me something that I didn't think it was going to give me.
Absolutely. Chris?
I have 3 numbers in my head. I want it. My heart says to give it a 6. My brain says to give it a 6.5, but I'm gonna be generous and give it a 7 because of the Raw tag team title match.
Not the women's tag team title.
Yeah, not the Nia Jax match. No,
I'll go somewhere between 6 and 7. You can pick it home.
Okay, all right, for sure.
Okay,
that's fair.
Average.
Man, I must have loved this show more than you guys did. And man, oh my gosh,
I liked it. Just no show is perfect, and there's definitely a lot that could have improved.
No show is perfect unless you're WrestleMania X7. Let's just be clear. But,
I don't know. You know what? Yeah, we're going to talk about the perfect show. That's SummerSlam 2002. We're going to talk about that next month.
Yeah, we are.
Great match of all time in Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. So,
so yes, absolutely stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for more of these wrestling pods as always. Look out for us to do the Royal Rumble next month. Super excited for that. It's our favorite pay-per-view of the year. If you like what you're seeing and hearing from us, hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't yet. Be sure to hit that like button also. It really helps out the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this pod. As always, thank you to Tomas and Kris for joining me once again. And with all that, Back Talk commence.